Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Modern Warfare Remastered in Depth. In today's episode, I'm going to be reviewing the S-Tac Aggressor sniper rifle. Got lots of good sniping gameplay for you, which is a little bit unusual for me because I'm usually on the struggle bus when it comes to sniping. And I will have you know that I did not buy supply drops to get this weapon. I unlocked it completely for free by playing the game. I think the days of summer helped a lot, and I'm only going to be reviewing additional weapons that I unlock on my own for free without paying money. So I'm considering grinding out for a day or two on double crypto keys to get some more for in-depth. Let me know if you're interested in that. But let's talk about the stats of the weapon. Like most of the sniper rifles in Modern Warfare Remastered, it'll deal a flat 70 damage at all ranges. However, it does have a unique feature similar to the M40A3, where when you put an ACOG sight on it, it increases the damage slightly up to 75, which when we start talking about body and head multipliers, that is going to be very significant. The stopping power damage is 98, and if you do stopping power with ACOG, it should be 105, but I put a lot of question marks there because there's something that we're going to talk about later where the theory doesn't necessarily match the practice on this weapon. You will get one-shot kills on this sniper rifle to the head, neck, upper chest, and torso. However, the torso one-shot kills are going to be with ACOG only. When you're running stopping power, you'll get one-shot kills to the head, neck, upper chest, and torso. Of note, the legs and the arms and some of the extremities do not count, but pretty much anywhere center mass will get you a one-shot kill. When it comes right down to it, this has the highest overall damage of any sniper rifle. The Barrett 50 cal has some slightly better multipliers, but we don't get the ACOG bonus. The new, very fast-firing, I think it's DBS sniper rifle, the other one that isn't with the original game, has 2 multipliers, or 2x multipliers, but then much lower on other parts of the body. But when it comes to an overall damage profile, nothing really competes with the S-Tac Aggressor. However, in order to make it fair, it has the slowest rate of fire in the game of any sniper rifle at 57 rounds per minute, and of course you must rechamber a round before firing. Now of note, that's 57 making it the slowest, but then again the M40 and the R700 are 65 rounds per minute, so it's not a very big difference between those two. If you're a hardcore sniper, if you do a lot of work on that front, you might notice a difference, but for most of you it'll probably feel a lot like the M40 or the R700. Like the other sniper rifles in the game, it has a normal aim down sights time of 400 milliseconds. However, if you put an ACOG scope on it, it'll decrease that down to 300 milliseconds, and in my experience this makes a big difference. I think the ACOG is the way to go on this weapon, and it makes it feel much better. When it comes to recoil stats, I think it's somewhat better to do comparative stats than raw numbers. It has a slightly higher recoil profile than the M40A3, which is the most popular sniper rifle in the game. However, it kicks slightly less than the R700, so it's going to fit in very comfortably with the rest of the bolt-action sniper rifles, and most of you probably won't be able to perceive a difference. The 7-round magazine is nice too. Most of the other ones aren't so blessed, so having 7 rounds to go through before reloading is good, and the reload time isn't particularly slow either. It reloads in a very respectable 2.6 seconds. So while the sniper rifle might sound very nice and appealing, there is something I need to talk about that kind of upsets me, and that's that there is something wildly inconsistent about the damage and one-shots of this gun. If I take it in private match and I test it out, it works fine. Some games it works fine, some games I feel like I'm hitting people dead center mass and getting hit markers, and yes, I know that's Call of Duty. Maybe I'm lagging, maybe I'm missing, maybe I'm hitting shoulders or body. I have noticed that even though I run deep impact on it, it seems to really have poor penetration power, even though statistically it should be very high. I pretty much never get wall bangs with this weapon, and it might just be my overall skill level with sniping, but something does not feel right about it. Something feels very inconsistent. It does not seem to be delivering the same level of one-shots that it should be delivering, especially when I'm using it default. Now, when I put the ACOG sight on it and we up the damage, it's much better, but it's not perfect. There's definitely something goofy going on in the public match setting that I'm not able to prove or test or put my finger on at the moment, but do keep in mind there is something going on that may prevent you from getting one-shot kills. Now, aside from that, when it does work, and I guess when the lag is good or it's in your favor and the theory does match the practice, the S-Tac is one of the overall best sniper rifles in Modern Warfare Remastered. Regular sniping on it is great. Old man sniping, hard scoping, whatever you want to call it, very high damage sniper rifle, very easy to to pick people off at range. Very clear, easy to use default scope. However, I think quickscoping with the ACOG is definitely better on this weapon than most others, perhaps better than any other weapon in the game. The additional damage from putting the ACOG scope on it gets you a lot of one-shot kills. You don't have to aim as precisely. Being able to aim down sights quicker with the ACOG is nice. Having a bigger magazine so you don't have to reload as often is very nice. And there's a lot of benefits to it, and when it comes to my personal preference, I much prefer to put the ACOG sight on this weapon and kind of quickscope or fast snipe with it, as I'm not a particularly great quickscope. And this comes from a guy who typically hates quickscoping. It not only experiencing it on the receiving end, but as a playstyle, it's among my least favorite things to do. However, this weapon seems to be specifically designed for it. I believe that's why it's the S-Tac Aggressor, aggressive, you rush in with it. So if you like quickscoping, this one's probably the best one in the game. So I recommend always running it with ACOG. Just ignore the default sights and put an ACOG on it, and treat it like a one-shot DMR. Yeah, you can quickscope with it a little bit, but if you treat it like a DMR with just a little bit of setup and do some fast sniping, it is glorious and it will work very, very well. Guys, that's all for this episode of In Depth. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.
Our UAV is online. Our UAV is online. UAV recon standing by.